Hello, hello. Thanks for joining my room.
Nice day. How you make space for play. End of the grind, got no time left to stay. Too tired to pick up the summer guitar. Dreaming the music, but you're stuck where you are. We say we will, but we don't. We feel the pull, but we won't. Just something shifts in the way. Make space for play. Even just a little today. Clear a path, move the mess away. Let the music find a way. Make space for play. Sunlight calling you to stay. Drop the needle, let it sway. Let it roll. Just play. Decks in the corner, covered in life. Boxes and paper, a beautiful stripe. Soul feels heavy, space feels tight. But a small, clean move could make it right. Just one step, just one move. Shift the weight, find the groove. Let the random lead the way. Make space.
There we go. Anyway, so welcome. Thanks for coming. This is going to be really messy. Lots of stuff. I hope some of it is useful. I will probably go through fast and I probably won't have much time for discussion. But what I would appreciate is if you chuck things into chat, I'll try and pick up in some pauses and feel free to jump in and say some stuff in between. But don't ask me lots of detail on how I did things. I won't be able to cover that today. But anything that relates to that's interesting, that made me think of doing X. That's the sort of stuff I'd love to hear from you as well. What was my thing? So I'm just kind of, you can see my whole screen, which is probably for a reason. So I'll try and zoom in where possible. But I did this outline in one of the body doubling sessions we had the other day, and I've completely scrapped some of this structure, I'm sure. But what my main challenge, I think this is true, is that I was really interested to kind of like maintain a sense of play while sort of learning some new tools, really, and learning the edges of those tools. And fundamentally, that's quite hard when you kind of get drawn into the detail. So I started off with some fun things, and then it got a lot more boring and serious, and then I tried to pull back to the fun things again. So I'll show you a mixture of that stuff. I think this was a funny thing because I keep on hitting my limit on Claude and I haven't invested in my max. I think that's just a common story, and it kind of, I think Fred was talking the other day about it giving you a good pause moment to reflect on what you're actually doing rather than just keep on doing more stuff. But I guess there's three, what are the main areas? I want to talk a little bit about the sort of playful interfaces that I've been tinkering around with. Talk very little about the digital sketchbook as a way to misspell things and house some of that. Something that's come out as part of this, not necessarily AI, but some AI parts to it around experimenting with video, some of you may have seen, and then into some building systems with Claude and maybe a little bit of Suno, because, yeah, I mean, that was all a bit last project, but I never talked about that. Boone, yes.
You want to record.
Oh, was I not recording? Damn it. Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
That was the best part.
Oh. I'm not doing it again. There we go. That'll be missed. They'll miss it. So we're going to get straight.
Getting closer because we couldn't see much. Great.
Okay, yeah. You're not going to see anything, not much there. You're going to see some stuff.
Okay.
But what was I doing? So one of the things, this actually came up in I don't know, like a campfire or something. I just thought, oh, like I like making portmanteaus of like random things, and I thought, oh, I want to create a book called Shitmanteau, it's really poor, really terrible portmanteau. So on the lovable Infinite Credit Day, which was International Women's Day, I made quite a few of these little apps, and one of the first ones was Shipmanto, and it is pretty rubbish, to be fair. It just generates random combinations of weird words, and I could have probably put better words in it, but they're pretty rubbish. So that's probably one of the shittest things I did. Something that was semi-serious was, for a while in Figma Make, I was kind of trying to create a tool that allowed you to like create different sort of visuals from a text outline and sort of do it interactively. So, for example, a sunburst diagram or a Sankey diagram, but like flip the visuals, but just maintain an outline. And I think in Lovable was actually really good at kind of doing that much quicker and much more elegantly. So this was a nice little sunburst tool that you could just kind of create like a hierarchy on the side, like text outline, and it would create one of these sort of interactive maps, and you could potentially attach ideas to it. And this is something I might use, and would be a massive pain in the A to actually do this by hand in Illustrator like I used to. Anyway. And I did a few versions of that, and this is like a Sankey. It wasn't really a Sankey, but I tried some Sankey versions of the same data essentially in different tools as well. So you can kind of flip the tool, and might come back to that. It's quite a nice little tool to progress. I did this thing called Dandelion Garden. I really love this. It's really beautiful. It was inspired by a post on Instagram my wife told me about, around a little girl talking about kind of blowing on the dandelions and like the wishes kind of disappearing or kind of coming true or whatever. I can't remember what the background is. And this little thing, maybe let's just show that one because it's cute. So cute. Let's have a look. Wish bloom. So you have these little dandelions, and you can plant another one. Name it. Let's call it School of the Possible. And click somewhere, and it grows a little dandelion. And you can add little things that wish for hope, for inspiration, and it adds a little thing on it like that. And you can kind of move them around and edit them and all those things and move them around. It is really cute. So I really like that. That was one of my favorite things to make. And it's just a nice little visual thing. Figma Make did a really Toy Town version of it. Yoga Tarot, that was sort of like a random thing, like a one prompt thing in Lovable, which was, where is it? Draw your card, tap to reveal. Oh, the mountain. Draw another card. Oh, it's a slightly different one. And it basically kind of generates random combinations of things that might have some relationship to yoga and tarot. I didn't spend much time on that one. This one I really love. This is a tool that I make in I use in sort of reflection sessions to kind of like indicate what's lifting you up and what's dragging you down, sort of weighty anchors or wankers as I call them. And I wondered if you could kind of like make a quite nice cute little visual thing of that. So I was messing around with this for a little time, and you could kind of add these little balloons in and change their colors and change their size and make a quick little drawing tool. I can't remember if it got better. Have a look. Oh yeah, you know, it's pretty neat. You do some cute things in it. I think I still prefer doing it on paper, but it's a nice little cute little app. Basically, all this is the sort of stuff that people used to do flash sites for. This thing, I want to come back to this because I think there's something in it. But if anyone's familiar with the drama triangle, it's this model of aspects of drama that you can find yourself in as a victim or persecutor or rescuer. And the idea is that you could add in particular positions for people and in different situations. So I was playing around with this different tools, and they were really struggling with it, which is the latest one. Yeah, some of them are trying to be too intelligent about the patterns between moving between things. But, you know, just being able to kind of like place different people in the different spots was maybe quite interesting. Very basic, could be a little bit more informed and basically tell you what that means if someone's being the persecutor in a relationship and someone's being the victim, and when they move and all those sorts of things. So I think that has potential mileage, especially in coaching. And then what this is one of my favorite things. Again, it's built from a tool I use on paper a lot, which I call the focus jar. So lots of different size things to kind of represent sort of qualitatively like how much time or attention you should be spending on something. So it's like a kind of visual task list. And the idea with this one is that
so this is a little
go into it.
Choose that even. It's an example color, which I can kind of add a category to if I want to, or just change the color. I can kind of put a particular thing. So and it's reorganizing as well.
So it's a nice little sort of visual map of your to-do list. And someone said to me, "Oh, it'd be cool if it could kind of import your calendar." And I did play around with that, and it got really messy. But you can do it, and then pull it in your calendar. I had to dedupe a whole bunch of events, and then you can resize them and rescale them and stuff. So I think this one has mileage, lots of different iterations here of that one. And I might come back to it. Lovable did a really nice job, did something really nice with this one, I thought. It's just kind of like a little bit, it kind of gave me a nice little visual thumbnail for a particular day. So I could add focus areas, but it's got a nice little draggable interaction, which is quite nice to kind of resize. And then this energy thing is kind of going up and then makes a nice little visual thumbnail, which I thought was cute. Be a nice little interaction model for that. Does anyone know when we started and how long we've been in here?
No. 8 minutes left.
Minutes remaining. There's a clock up top.
Okay, thank you. I saw that.
Upper right.
Yep, I can see it in the recording. There we go. Cool. This one is actually semi-serious. This was using Claude, and I've got a book that I never finished because it probably shouldn't have ever been a book. And it's got some intro stuff, kind of setting the scenes and trying to help you as a digital UX product designer type person to, depending on what kind of context you're in, give you a bunch of tools that I usually run in workshops to help you reflect and kind of inquire about yourself. And so I have a whole bunch of these like visual canvases, like about 30, 40 odd canvases. And the book was kind of like, choose your own adventure, and you had to pick like the recipes. And obviously, like over the years, people said, why is it a book? Should be a website. And I was like, no, I just want to make a book. And then I killed the book. And then I was like, okay, now I can make something. So the idea is that this is a single HTML file referencing a Google Drive of images built in Claude. And what you can do is you can be guided by these contexts. And I suppose I could add more. And what it does is show you the different sequence that you can do, give you some instructions. You can download the template if you want to fill it in and print it out and do all those sorts of things. But I was like, oh, I want to maybe adapt a sequence. And so maybe can I give it a different name like Neo and kill that. Let's have one of these. And then maybe I want to kind of make it a little bit more visual and kind of, so I made a little sort of drag and droppy-ish kind of organizer thing for like building out a sequence for someone, and maybe they could do it themselves. So that was an interesting experiment. And then one thing I was doing before that was I was doing a workshop, and I was just like thinking, I've got all these different sort of visuals, this visual structures. What if I could kind of edit them in the browser? So for example, this practice blob thing, I can just add more and more items and edit the things and then edit in the browser. And so that was quite nice. And then what it can do is print and save as PDF of all of these like workshop tools. And if they were better looking, I might use them. And then it creates a little PDF. But it's not going to look great. I know that much. Come on. Probably Acrobat is the slowest thing on my computer. You might relate. Yeah, so, damn, it's just done that one. Anyway, the idea is it should print out the whole sequence. Oh, I know why, because I've done view the spreads. Oh well, forget that. You can do it, and it creates a spread and a sequence, and then you can print it out. So that was that one. And then so there was a whole bunch of these things, and in one of the sessions when we were having some breakout rooms discussing it, I was like saying one of the challenges with this stuff is I don't really have a place to put it. I was trying to kind of, take screenshots and recordings of iterations for my own reference. And then I thought that the easiest thing to do rather than try and learn a new thing and make a website and stuff was to just start a little Substack that was essentially my little labs project. So I started a Substack called Resonant Labs, and I put some of this stuff on there, and I haven't been so great at keeping it up to date, but it is there. I'll come to the questions in a minute or comments, but I'm going to come back to the focus jar because there was a really nice thing happened with the focus jar, because for ages I wanted to put sound on the focus jar app, and you can. So I'm just going to go to the live app and I'm going to turn on the sound. You hear it's got this background hum. I wanted to have some sort of ambience that was reflected to the number of items, and I wanted this little cute kind of feedback when you add in the blobs. It would be really nice if it kind of had different sounds when you're resizing, and it would be nice if it was more drag and drop and stuff. But this sound was so interesting because it would be on in the background and humming away when I was doing other things, and I'd suddenly kind of pick up on it and go, oh right, come back to my task list. And when I open my laptop, I'd get this pitch bends happen. I was like, what? That was just completely unintended and really quite cool. So anyway, happy accident, that one. And I've got 2 minutes remaining. Okay, right. So I did some boring systemy stuff that most people do with Claude, but it's probably going to be helpful. Things like an admin assistant to help me combine lots of different sources of data to kind of get a handle on my coaching logs. That was helpful potentially. And then I use it for my VAT return, took a whole bunch of different inputs, a free agent sort of banking app, various CSVs from various places, and go through my emails to kind of consolidate a lot of my receipts and transactions, and then output to a Google Sheet that I could kind of use to manually check, which didn't save me much time yet, but in theory, in the future, will save me so much time. Who knows? And then the other day, I was playing around with a tool to help analyze my transcripts, my coaching transcripts, to analyze, my coaching style in relation to people. So I won't go into the video, but I was experimenting with video as well, and everything from using my evil glasses and doing things outside, to even doing one thing where I use Descript's eye correction things that it plays with the eye contact. It's a bit creepy. I won't go into it now. And my first kind of proper fancy video thing, I recorded it. I've got you can't really see it properly, but I've got marker on my nose, which was really embarrassing. But I thought, fuck it, I'll just go with it. And I did some overhead things there as well. So that's my whistle stop shitty showreel tour of stuff. And if you ever want, I'm going to open up the chat and check in. If you want to go deeper, I'm opening up this board to share, and I'll share it with you with no shame. Anyone link? And what I'll ask you is, if you're interested, I'll do a deeper session on some of all this and have opportunities for discussion and other things. And I'll put that, I think I just created a little thing on Luma that's free, so you can just join here. And sorry for that breathless kind of overview, overwhelming live showreel of stuff, but that's where I'm at. So I'm going to take a breather, and meanwhile just put no, I can't play that banger. Can I play that banger? I will play this banger because there's not much point giving you a chance to talk now. Basically, I told some of the people about this, but I've got this kid that I made a song for, and he came to me. I came around ours, and he says, I've got this horn trains sound, and I kind of found a way to cut up this sound and made it into this song, and it turned into some reggaeton. It is heavy, sorry.
action. Gloves on, goes lock, no disruption. Save that shot, no discussion. Get out of my clapping function. Train the trip with the roadman punctuation. Whistle blows and I cause commotion. Cheeky goalie with a locomotion. Henry in goal and he's talking best smack. Try beat me, bruv, then he leans right back. One hand save like, you what a catch, then laugh like, hee. And he runs it back. Half road man stance, half time table brain. Knows every stop on the overground train. Pockets full of bent on, never plays tame. Shouts next train.
It's a London thing.
Ready?